Hey everyone, and welcome to another terrible day in my ugly world. I'm Jeppo, and right now I've been clearing out this area to fill in the floor. We're going to put some wood down. I'm not going to leave it just plain wood though. I did want to put carpet or something on it, or some sort of design, so the wood may go in the future, but at the moment I'm thinking about just doing it with carpet. Okay, so that's pretty much the plan for the moment. I've been thinking about putting blocks in strange places. Sorry about that. The Windows 10 edition of Minecraft. Actually, there's been a lot of talk about that recently. I don't need that. And I think it's an indication of what's to come, really. Let me clarify. You see, at the moment the PC edition is written in Java, and the Windows 10 edition is written in C++. Now the thing about Java is that it's not really optimized for games and things. It's well, there's a lot of problems. If you played the Minecraft on a PC, you'd know the Java version is problematic. The FPS can be quite a problem. There's frames per second if you're not familiar. It doesn't run as smoothly as a lot of games do, and to be honest, a lot of people complain about it. We have a friend here somewhere. I can hear a zombie. Okay, I don't know. Anyway, the Windows 10 edition is written in C++, which is a better programming language to write games and programs in, because it's a lot smoother, it runs a lot smoother, you don't have the same problems. Hello there, nice to see you. And it's a lot better than the Java version. Now the thing is, and a lot of people seem to be worried that the new Windows 10 version will be replacing the Java version. And to be honest, I think they might be onto something, because it would make a lot of sense when Microsoft purchased Mojang. If you didn't know, they didn't purchase Minecraft as such. They purchased Mojang, which is the company that makes Minecraft. That's irrelevant. They own Minecraft anyway. But when they first bought it, they made announcements about what they wanted to do with Minecraft, the way they see it going, and one of the things they were talking about was to unifying all the versions. And one of the things that they said was they were talking about a time where you could be playing on the bus on the way home from work or school on your tablet or phone or whatever, and then when you get home you just swap to your PC or your console, and then just continue playing the same game, the same map, the same world, everything. And that got me to thinking, with this Windows 10 version, because it is a better setup for the game, it makes it run more fluently, and the Pocket Edition is already written in C++, which is, from what I understand, is what the Windows 10 version is in. The Pocket Edition is written in that. It looks like the console editions are already written in that, so there should be, I think, a fair bit of compatibility between those different versions. Of course, each version has a lot of different things in it at the moment. They're not all at the same point. The Java version is way ahead, and I think because of that, the Java version is going to be around for quite a while longer. I think, at least, I'd say at least 2-3 years before it really gets to the point where it's not going to be the main version anymore. Although if you base it just on numbers, there's only about a quarter of copies of Minecraft are on the PC anyway. Whereas there's about, I think it's just over 20 million now on PC, but total Minecraft games is about 80 million. So you're only looking about 25% of all Minecraft games are the Java version anyway. So yeah, in about 2 to 3 years I would say the Windows 10 version would be probably the main version. It'd take that long, I think, for it to catch up. But during that time, I think we're going to see more and more compatibility between the different versions. Like at the moment, I think it's the what is it? The Pocket Edition is already compatible with it. You can cross-play. I don't know if you can cross. I think you can cross-save actually. So if you have a world on the Pocket Edition, you can play that on the Windows 10 edition. So you should be able to like save on one and then transfer over to the other, and that's pretty much seamless. You can play multiplayer, where if one person is on a Pocket Edition, the other person on the Windows 10 edition, then you can both play in the same world at the same time. And I see that going with bringing it in with the consoles, I think. I mean, there could be problems with that, of course, where especially with the Sony product, the PlayStations, and I don't know how this would go with the older consoles either, with the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3. That could be a problem. And but I can't see. Sony would have to be nuts to really cause too many problems with this, because it's going to bite them in the back if they don't allow some sort of cross-play between the different systems. It's just be too unpopular, I think. But then again, I could be wrong. Who knows with Sony? But that's where I think it will be going. And the other thing that's come up is mods, because all the mods, well actually not all the mods, but most of the mods currently are made for the Java version, and there's been a fair bit of concern from people that if Microsoft do push the main Minecraft over into the new Windows 10 edition, well, they'd have to make it available on other systems too. So it's not just Windows 10, but all Windows systems, Linux, the Mac. And again, that's going to take time. Probably a couple of years once they get everything going up. They need to make versions for that. They need to bring the C++ version up to the same level or the same version number as the Java version, which is currently 1.88, I think, or around there. So whatever it is in the future, probably 1.9, 1.10, well, probably 2 maybe. I don't know how they'll do the numbering, but they need to bring the C++ version and all the other versions, the PE version, Windows 10, the console versions, all up to the same level. Once they do that, and then looking at mods, people are complaining that it's a different language, but what people don't seem to know is there are already mods for the PE edition, which, as you may know, was written in C++ anyway, and some of those mods are written in Java or C++. I mean, it doesn't matter, it depends on the API, and there's been the user-made API so that you can run mods on the Pocket Edition. I don't think they've brought out the API yet, or the system to actually play the mods on the Windows 10 edition yet, but they should be able to port that over relatively easy because they share the same language. The Windows 10 version is based directly off the Pocket Edition anyway, so there shouldn't be too many changes they need to make. They just need to find a way for that work. And once they do, I think a lot of mod makers would jump at the chance to expand, especially if they didn't have to do too much work, because Mojang have talked for years and years about making a mod API so that it's easier for people to make mods for Minecraft anyway. So hopefully Microsoft seems to support this, and hopefully they will move forward with this new new Windows 10 version and finally get out an official mod API, which will of course help make it a lot easier for mod makers. And like I said, they already have a lot of mods for the Pocket Edition, so they just need to port those over. The existing mods for the Java version, depending on the API, it may not be as difficult, especially if there's official support for the mod API. So it may not be as difficult as say updating the mods when the main Minecraft version changes. Like at the moment, I think most of the mods are still on 1.7.10. They haven't got to 1.8 yet. Of course, Minecraft is already looking at 1.9, so that's been a slow process for them, I guess. But I mean, there is a lot of work in doing these things. But with the official mod API, hopefully that would change so that it does become easier for the mod makers, and I think that would solve a lot of the problems with people coming across changing their mods from the Java version to the C++ version. And if they've got official support, it should make it a lot easier than what they're doing at the moment anyway. And hopefully it'll be easier than it is for them to just update the mods from one Java version to another. The biggest problem I can see with this would be on consoles, especially the PlayStation. I'm not familiar with the Xbox as much, but from what I've seen, it's a lot easier for people to mod those things than it is for the PlayStation. But I think a way to fix that so that we could do the mods on the PlayStation would be to set up a server type system, so that if you wanted to play a mod on the PlayStation like I'm playing on it now, what they could do is set up servers. Like even if it's a self-hosted server, like this is just my thoughts, I don't know if this is even possible really. It should be, as long as Sony doesn't block it somehow. But what you need, just like in the computer version or the Pocket Edition, you set it up so that you can manually put in a server address. So on the main screen where you have the join game, you have it so that you can join any server you want. You can just put in the address of the server that you want to connect to, and even if it's like just your home computer, set it up so that you can host a server on your home computer, and just plug that address in and then have the server host all the mods, so that you don't actually have to modify the game files or any files on the PlayStation. It would all be modified on the server, and that shouldn't break any rules that Sony have about changing game files or anything, because you wouldn't actually be changing the files on the PlayStation, they'd all be changed on the server. Then yeah, I think that would work, although I'm not 100%, of course. There's a lot of things they'd have to work out, but I do know 4J and Microsoft are fully supportive of the mods. I mean, so are Mojang. They just don't offer support in helping people to make them, or to work out what's wrong with them if something goes wrong. But they yeah, they don't have a problem with people modifying the game or installing mods or anything. It's perfectly okay by them. It's the only real problem would come is if like Sony or Microsoft decided they don't want to allow people to play mods on their consoles, which again would be I think that would be a bad move for them. That's weird. So anyway, that's my thoughts on where the Windows 10 version is going to be going in the future. So hopefully we'll get, well, I think we will get versions on the consoles. Of course it'll be same with all the computer systems, whether you're on Linux or other versions of Windows or whatever, you'll be able to play the same game. It'll be fully compatible, and that seems to be what Microsoft really wants, and I see that happening. And I can foresee also adding the mods, which 4J have talked about that since before it was even released on PlayStation. They're talking about having mods in the Xbox version. Of course there's other problems with that, but maybe they'll be able to sort that out finally with this new Windows 10 version. So hopefully one day in the next few years we will have those abilities on the consoles. And as far as mod makers wanting to change over to this new system, I think they would actually be best to do that, because as I said before, the the Java version currently has 20 million copies sold. Total sales of Minecraft on all systems, on the consoles, Pocket Edition, well, all versions, console editions, Pocket Editions plus Java is around 80 million now. So I think a lot of mod makers would actually welcome this. If they could widen their audience, like that's 400%. The potential user base, 400% of what they've got at the moment. At the moment they service 20 million. If they could do it with the Windows 10 that is also on all the other systems, they could expand that to 80 million. So I think a lot of mod makers would actually be in favor of this. Well, I'd be interested to hear from actual mod makers. So far all I've heard is from users, people who just use the mods, and they're worried that, oh, there's no mods on it, there will never be any mods, no mod maker will want to do it because it's too much a hassle, blah blah blah. But what I found interesting is that there are none of the big mod makers, at least as far as I've seen, none of them have actually made comments about whether or not they would welcome it. And I really would be interested to hear what any of them say. And also, look, I'd be interested in hearing what other people say too. People who are watching this video, who've actually made it through this far. Congratulations. Write it in the comment. What do you think? Do you think I'm just in La La Land, or do you think there's a possibility? What would you think? Would you like to play people on different systems? Like, I'm sitting here playing on the PlayStation. If you're sitting there playing on a PC or your tablet or phone, do you want to join in the same server and play together? I mean, I think that would be awesome. It'd certainly open up the possibilities for consoles and things. We'd have so much more to do, so many different types of games. Just open up the possibilities of what we could do on our PlayStations, on our Xboxes, and just have a lot more fun. Oh, there's two of them in there now. Why don't you shoot him? Shoot him, bro. Shoot him. You're not going to shoot because you're behind glass. Anyway, if you're wondering, this is actually working quite well. It's about half full at the moment. Got those chests over there are filling up nicely. I still have some caves to empty. Wow, you guys so ugly. Alright, but I'm going to finish there. Any comments, please leave them. What do you think about Windows 10? Do you think it's going to go the way I foresee it? Is it going to be completely different? Do you think it's a good idea, bad idea? What do you think? What would you like to see happen with the Windows 10 and future editions? Alright, I'll finish there. Have a good one. I'll see you next time. Bye.